On June the 18th, in Ekiti State, citizens are expected to go to the polls to choose who becomes the state governor for another 4 years. Given the events of the past few weeks that have been occasioned by violence, killings, there was a particular meeting that was held in Ado-Ekiti, the state capital, yesterday, where stakeholders appealed to all aspirants to imbibe the spirit of sportsmanship regarding the outcome of the elections or the election on Saturday. And as a result of this, a peace pact was entered by the aspirants ahead of Saturday's election. Well, that's one of the major political developments in Nigeria at the moment, save the last minute entries of who becomes running mate for both APC and PDP flag bearers in ahead of the 2023 general election. That's talking about ATIKU Abubakar and Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Well, first, let's listen to the outcome of the peace pact yesterday, and then we'll come back to go into today's discussion proper.
All the political actors to ensure that they do not see the signing of the peace accord as a mere formality and a photo opportunity. May the friendship exhibited here follow you through the elections. And please note that at the National Peace Committee, we are exploring the possibilities of strengthening this accord so that those who sign it appreciate the weight, the consequences of their breaches.
For INEC, I wish to assure the Peace Committee of our commitment to transparent and credible elections. Working for the last 12 months, since June 2021, when we released the timetable for the Ekiti governorship election, it is inconceivable that INEC will undermine itself, especially on election day and beyond. I want to assure you all that the votes of the Ekiti people will count.
To this end, we appeal to citizens to be.
Okay, you just heard the voices of Bishop Kuka, who is the convener of the National Peace Committee, and INEC Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu speaking to his parents. I mean, to embrace themselves, regardless or irrespective of what the outcome of the election would be. All right, welcome on the show. This is Public Square. We discuss topical issues here, especially those that concern the citizens, as we ensure that we take every discussion from the standpoint of the people. Today, we'll be looking at the last minute intrigues of who becomes the vice presidential candidate of the two major political platforms, that's the PDP and the APC. There have been a lot of permutations, there have been a lot of insinuations ahead of INEC's deadline, which is tomorrow. We would be looking at some of these issues, set them on the table, and probably set them in the right perspectives, and maybe make a sense of the whole political development. My name is Olabisi Olani Oluwasegun, and in the studios this morning, I have Mr. Rotimi Ogunle. He's a chieftain of the APC. Thank you for coming.
That's a very big one.
Are you not a chieftain? Of course you are.
Just remember.
Okay, so we also have Mr. Alan Showere, who is of the PDP fold, who will be joining us any moment now. First off, there have been a lot of discussions, a lot of deliberations on the way forward for Nigeria ahead of 2023 general election, the choice of the country's president, even though we have different flag bearers who have already emerged across the political parties. PDP has Atiku Abubakar, APC has Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Labour Party has PETEROBI, and the rest seems to be between these three people majorly for now. I don't know, barring any last minute change. Now let's talk about the objective need of Nigeria ahead of 2023, the kind of leader that Nigeria really needs, regardless of which political platform that person will be emerging from. I want your honest and objective opinion on this particular issue.
Yes, thank you very much. The first thing that I would think that the next Nigerian president will have is the ability to do the unusual things that will make him lose political patronage, even within his political party. And they require tough decisions. When you are in public office, if you take those tough decisions that are very, very uncommon, they are not the regular decisions that public office holders have been taking in the past. When you take all decisions, you are going to lose some mileage from the beginning. For example, you must have a radically different president, possibly this time around, that will be able to look at the effects of fuel subsidy on the economy and be ready to remove it. And you know, when you remove fuel subsidy, it means you have to guide on loans and make sure that whatever savings that you get from there is going into projects
That would stimulate the economy.
that will stimulate that will touch the masses directly. You can't remove fuel subsidy and come back and begin to give excuses. You know, that requires a working president, a president that will do the unusual. That's number one. I'm expecting a president that will be 21st century compliant, that will understand the implication and the effect of budget on national economic development. See, every society, every family, every community is as good as the product of its budget. Our budget procedures in the time past, there have not been a rigorous exercise that its content will reflect the development need of the national and subnationals. We have budget incongruencies, the policy issues in our budgets and budget details, they are at variances. They don't, when you run a country like ours, that is more or less a federally united nation, with a kind of unitary structure, you need budget congruency that will speak the same language as regards development philosophy of that particular administration. For example, if we are doing agriculture, we know that if we want to diversify our economy, we want to build up our GDP so that we'll bring the inflation figure down. Where we have greater economic advantage skill is in agriculture. There are so many products that can come out of there. So can we look at our strength in the area of these agricultural products on the table and now regionalize it? Then have a certain percentage of budgetary allocation for this and have, calendar with deliverables, building intellectuals into this from our university system, then make it a national program that all states must buy into. Coming president must be able to do that, because the reason why our economy is this very bad is because the local realities of our economy does not have buffer economic activities and status that can shield us away from international realities, as it borders on prices of crude oil, as it borders on production, as it borders on international pandemic. So we have seen the effect of all of this on our economy. And because our economy is largely rent, buy and selling economy, about 80% of our activities are based on that. So if you have a very tinge shift in global economic activities, the way it will affect us will be badly hit. We are not a manufacturing economy. We don't even have enough investment in energy. So we need a president that will take critical decisions, that will understand revenue and expenditure side. He will pick the two like this. Politicians are mostly concerned about revenue. Where's the money? They just begin to allocate and allocate and allocate. There is no consistency and sustainability fund and revenue generation program.
Okay.
Which of course is, if you I can point your attention to some things. If you look at ASU problem, if you measure from 1 to 10, number 1 is money, number 2 is money, number 3 is money, number 4. check all their demands. They are not saying give us money to put in our pocket. That's not what they're saying. They are saying invest money in the system. It is money, 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 money. So you need a president who can answer the question: how do we get
that
fund
money
for this system,
okay,
and that we have sustainability? So
okay,
we need a president that can take very tough decisions and make sure that if you are voting me out, so be it. But I
okay,
need to deliver.
okay. You think the next president should be able to do unusual things,
Yes,
to be ICT compliant,
it should
and
be,
should understand the economy?
of course.
Okay, that's his opinion. We want to look at this subjectively, devoid of our political belongation or affiliation. What attributes would you love to see in the next president of Nigeria?
Thank you very
Or what do
much.
you think Nigeria needs
To make it work,
to make it work?
yes, first and foremost, it was Paulo who said that it's only a sound body that can harbor a sound mind. If you want to simplify this, if you want to drive a vehicle, you need the body, sound body, so that it can carry the engine. Nigeria needs a healthy, agile, fiscally fit president
Okay.
to be able to cope with the challenges of governance. Let me
Very
tell
good.
you, governance is tedious. It's only somebody who is healthy, who can attend to himself, that can attend to other people.
Okay.
So we need a president that is healthy, agile, physically fit. We should do away with this prayer, God will give, God grants health. But as a matter of fact, we are our father, we are our mother. What I cannot do now, my children perhaps can even do it.
Okay. Apart from
So
that, what other attributes would you like to see?
we want to see a Nigerian president that can exchange email with other presidents without assistance, who can pick his phone and talk to other presidents of the world. We want Nigeria needs a president who understands the dynamism of economy. Nigeria needs a president who is nationalist, who is not tribalistic, who is not an ethnic jingoist, who is not biased, who can administer the people based on merit.
Okay.
And not other sentimental consideration, not political consideration, who can actually give the people good governance and not politics, and politics.
Okay.
So, and we must be deliberate about our decision. We must be deliberate about our Nigerianness, irrespective of where the next president comes. Let me tell you, we have a situation where a northern president has addressed southern problem. We have situation where a southern problem have been able to solve northern problems. So we must look beyond this pedestrian issue. Where does it come from? Religion, sex, and all of that.
Okay. That's your opinion. Let me quickly inform our listener that we're on Facebook right now. We're live on Facebook. You could join us, join the conversation there. Drop your comments, and we will try to read them all out. So, we have what we think that the next Nigerian president should have to make the country work. Um, there have been a lot of issues regarding what happens if somebody emerges as the running mate of who, and this has stirred a lot of reactions in the public space. For instance, the PDP today will be screening the possible names that have been put up to be the running mates for Atiku Abubakar. The committee has been set, and today we would know probably Atiku would announce who the running, or the PDP would announce who the running mate would be. And also in the APC, there's this back and forth about whether or not Ashwaju Bola Tinubu should go for a Muslim ticket or a Muslim Christian ticket, and all of those issues. Now, before we go ahead with the discussion of what should be or who should be the running mates of the major flag bearers of these political parties, let's quickly take a listen to what some of the stakeholders believe should be done and how to go about this.
The flag bearer Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu is an astute politician. He understands the game well, and he knows how to win a contest, especially at this level. I am confident that himself, Mr. President, our party, leaders and elders of our party will come up with a selection that is going to sell the party and the candidature of our party and ensure a victory.
If I am enamored Bola Tinubu's situation, the wife is a senior pastor in a Pentecostal church. I will go Muslim ticket. The most important thing is for the party to win. It's not, we should stop all this rubbish about whether you put a Christian there. After all, if we win, already the wife is a pastor that have been living for over 40 something years together. I've known them this far. So why do you want to blame about? She's already like a deputy president. If I'm to say, I'm a Catholic. I'm saying my opinion. This is Oji Carlos' opinion. You cannot deny me my opinion. But you can also play Christian ticket, depending on the scenario. Because if we don't play Muslim, we're in trouble. We'll not win that. It will be bad.
Okay, we just heard the position of Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello and Oji Uzokali, who's the chief whip at the Senate. Now, what is your opinion on this issue of who becomes the running mate of Shiwaju Bola Tinubu? There have been a lot of speculations. Some say Babagana Zulum, some say Simon Lalong, some say Ganduje of Kano State, and Kashim Shatima. A lot of names have been put forward. But what do you think he should do if you were in his shoes? Given the cards on the table, who would you or what would you go for?
Unfortunately, I'm not in his shoes.
Yeah, just saying.
Well, that is in a lighter mood. Well, you see, political parties in Nigeria, they have their own system through which they elect or pick their standard bearer, and they have another internal mechanism through which they pick their running mates. I think what matters to a political party is to fulfill the major reason why they are formed. And what is it? To come together to win election so that they can implement the constitutional rules of governance, which means for a political party to be relevant in every election, it will be thinking of winning. So it will be more concerned about what will make it win, because it is when you win you can transform your intention and your good program to reality. So they will be concerned about what will make the party win. If I were to be in his shoes, the first thing is what can make our party win. That's number one. Then, when I now look at what can make our party win, I will now again come down to number two. How do I make it work? For example, if we are picking.
Do you think a Muslim ticket would work for the APC?
Thank you very much. If we look at it very well, in the north, the Christian population there, we must be sincere, is lower than the Christian population in the southern parts. If you have a Muslim candidate from the southern part there, which of course the population is not as huge as that of the north, I would say for the purpose of this analysis, that Muslim person will be from the minority population in the south. If you are looking for a candidate in the north, you don't go and pick another minority candidate too. So if you pick a Christian deputy from the north, you are picking from the minority population. We already have a candidate here who is from the minority population of the religious leg. The party can look at that. The party again can now look at it and say, okay, if we want to campaign, what is the status of the other candidate from another party? So that should inform us the kind of candidate we must pick, because the ultimate end that you must pursue as a political party is how to win. If we have good intention, if we have a candidate that is rolling out good, manifesto to the people and say that, okay, our economy must be functional, we can't afford to be driving big vehicles that we cannot even make the brake pad. It is when the president come on board that will now be directing the economy in the part of manufacturing, that will now be saying, okay, let us have.
But the first hurdle is victory.
It is the first hurdle. That is it. All
Okay.
political parties, we must not shy from. It is the truth. It is just the truth. So me, I would say that.
But a lot of people believe that if Asiwaju Bola Tinubu and the APSA go for a Muslim ticket, that would be the beginning of the end for APC ahead of the 2023 general
I say
election.
it depends on the way they implement it. I've said it. If you are picking another, let's say you are going for Muslim, you're theorizing now. I'm expecting the party to engage the Christian stakeholders in the south and in the north. Take the explanation to them. This is why we are doing this. We are not insensitive to your plight. We understand the configuration of Christian family in Nigeria. We are aware of the volatile situation and the present situation in the country. And could you please allow us to do this? It is not about Christian Muslim in government. It is about policy that can reverse some already indoctrinated bad values, already accepted, coined, and manipulated religious teachings. It's about finding solution to that. It's about addressing all these issues. It's about not being a president that will be passive to all these issues. It's about issuing a very strong caveat that when you do this, you are going to get it. So it depends on how they implement it. But I also know that the stakeholders should understand the fact that there is a party that is supposed to go with the mind of the nation, that rotational presidency has stabilized this country. So if a party is changing from that tradition, it is all in an attempt to win. You can't crucify them. So,
okay, let's take a look at your view as well, Mr. Shore. Do you think that religion sentiment should be brought to the table at this point when Nigeria is grappling with a lot of challenges and we're looking for a way out of the quagmire? Do you think these sentiments are needed at all?
Honestly, I feel very sad that all that the party in government can talk about at this crucial time in our national life is religion and how to win election.
But your party is also about victory at the polls.
Yeah, see, the point is that APC is the ruling party. One expects that they should be talking about the achievement, what they have been able to do, rather than this unnecessary. It's ridiculous that all that we can offer now is to talk about religion. It's sad. But again, there's a contradiction. The same set of people who talk about Muslim minority in the South and pick their candidate, again, they are now insulting our psyche, talking about Christian minority in the North. Without minding the fact that the Constitution is very clear about the fact that Nigeria is a secular state. We should not be bringing religions to the front burner. It's sad.
Now, the question is, in your opinion, without having to consider your political affiliation, do you think a Muslim ticket will work for Nigeria?
Why should anybody think about that in the first instance? Why do you have to do that? When the Constitution is saying that Nigeria is a secular state, why do you have to bring religion into our governance? By bringing Muslim, you are telling us that Nigeria is secular. You are telling us that this is the only way to go for you to win election. We are telling us that the Christians do not matter. Christianity or the Christians have no place.
Now, Nigerians are saying that in the last 8 years, we've had a vice president who is of the Christian faith, and nothing much seems to have been done.
You still have to respect their view. You still have to respect their religion. You still have to respect their voice. You still have to put everything into consideration. Okay, the APC should have considered that, if you pick a Muslim minority in the South, you have problem picking. Let me tell you, there's no difference between the vice president and the president. Every function that the president can perform, the vice president can as well do. And Nigeria will argue with this because of the fact that we have had situation where somebody tells us that, all the head of security have to come from the same region. It doesn't matter. But we have seen situation where you now arrest suspects, take them to a police station, and they say bring them to Abuja, and nothing happens to them. So Nigeria are conscious of these intrigues.
Okay.
But it's a sad reality.
At this point, so would have to also sample the opinions of Nigerians on this very sensitive issue. Whether or not at this point we should be playing the religious cards or ethnic cards ahead of the 2023 general election. What are the real issues? And we'll be opening the lines for people at home to call 0816-251-9991. 0816-251-9991, 0908-177-8793. Okay, let's even assume that the APC comes up with a Muslim ticket. That's just a speculation. We're not sure what would be the outcome of the screening. Do you think that there is a way the APC could balance this Muslim ticket within the cabinet of whoever emerges the president? That is if.
Yeah, I will agree with my friend here that governance should not be about religious convenience. It should be about delivery. But again, we must put into consideration our peculiarities as a nation. Our peculiarities are so created us in such a way that some people, they are from a very small area because of their population. Like it's from Eseodo. The voting strength of Eseodo cannot be compared with about 7, 8, 9 local governments in Ondo State. But yet, we have had deputy governor from there, and we could still have some other positions from there. It is not because they have that voting strength. It's just because our political realities give us that kind of leverage that we should accommodate the smaller entities. Okay? I think that was the reason why PDP in 1999, why they, inserted in their operations the rotational presidency agenda, that if the presidency goes out, let it come back to the north. And that has helped to stabilize our polity in a very large extent. But all of a sudden, why we're having this discussion was probably because of the fact that those who brought what had stabilized our polities and made us to change from one democratic government to the other. They now come around to, alter that peaceful arrangement. Presidency is leaving the north. They are zoning their ticket back to the north. That is a bigger
issue to deal with.
Yes.
Okay, let's.
So if we are talking of Muslim ticket, that's a very manageable issue that you can still use other government offices.
Let me quickly add this. When you talk about PDP as a party,
but you have your time, Mr. Shore.
I'm coming. So we can use some other positions to just write all of this. For example, you can have an SSG that will be of a strong, come from a Christian faith. You can have such a person. You can have a Senate president that will be of a Christian. So you can still correct that.
Balance it.
But when you take presidency that somebody from the north has spent 8 years, you now want another person from the same zone again to go and spend another 8 years. It affects
4 years constitutionally.
Okay, yes, you are very correct. There cannot be anything that will affect the psyche and sensibility of Nigerians more than that.
Okay, your reaction before I take a few comments from Facebook.
Yes, people must be able to differentiate between party policies and policy that affects a nation. The PDP zoning arrangement affects, PDP will count its presidents they produce. And if you want to go by that, PDP we have produced Obasanjo 8 years. We have produced Yar'Adua for 2 years. We have produced Goodluck Jonathan. So if they want to base their own zoning on the president they have produced, they have not produced presidency more than 2 years for PDP. So it is the exclusive right of PDP either to zone their presidency to the north or to leave it on zone like they have done. Both the northerners, the southerners are contested.
Don't you think
even the APC didn't zone its presidency, so nobody should bring that sentiment. Bola Ahmed Tinubu,
it was zoned?
No, it was not zoned.
It was zoned. It
was not zoned. Everybody contested against him.
Let me tell you
what I mean. Was announced.
Let me tell you what I mean.
When Obasanjo became president, Northerners contested.
Are you aware that northern governors within the APC agreed that the presidential ticket should be zoned to the south? Are you aware?
As a party, you see, we have to put the issue at
no, the governors made that public and the party accepted.
Give me time now.
Okay.
The APC conducted their convention and northern candidate contested. That is the position. They contested. Lawa was even announced as the consensus, but the stakeholder, critical stakeholder, rejected the arrangement. So there's no
Between you and I,
as
you would agree with me that the decision of a majority of a political party would definitely influence the outcome of any election
yes,
within the party.
yes, now it was the election. It was Tambua who saved ATIKU. Perhaps Wike would have won that PDP.
Okay, let's take a few comments.
primary
Before
election.
this gets more heated, let's take a few comments from Facebook, and then we'll take a few calls before we go ahead. Oladiran Olushola says, "Remember MK Wabiola with Babangana Kingibe were Muslim, and they never got there. APC should learn from history." That's according to Oladiran Olushola. Fadeyi Sheriff Adekunle says, "Muslim ticket can't fly in APC. I'm a Muslim, but I'm not in support of the same religion to run for president. And his running mates, what a pity for APC. Wike is a plus for ATIKU to win the race." All right, that's according to Fadeyi Sheriff Adekunle. We have other comments here, but first off, Mr. Shore, there's this same issue lingering within the PDP as we speak. We said earlier that the committee has been put in place to screen some of the names that have been put forward for the vice presidential slot. That's a running mate to your party's flag bearer. Now, names like River State Governor Nyesom Wike have been mentioned. Delta State Governor Senator Ifeanyi Okowa has been mentioned. Udom Emmanuel Powerzaim and Emeka Ihedioha, to mention a few of them. What do you think should be the permutation for your party to really boost your chances at the polls?
Politics apart, from the way things are going, the current political trajectory, PDP seems to be getting it right. Atiku won that primary election. Wike came second. So naturally, if you look at it, he is in better position to get the nomination of his party as the vice president. He's a Christian. He's from southern Nigeria. He's healthy. He's a lawyer. He's qualified, competent. So already, you see this powerful combination. Atiku with business mindset, successful with experience as vice president. See, one of the major problems that we have as a Nigerian is that many a time we take some of these things for granted.
Before you go ahead with the eulogy, rather, someone here has a contrary opinion. This is a Nigerian, not my opinion. Elder Randolph Emmanuel Daudo says Alan Showore should tell Nigerians what Atiku that sold most government parastatals at very ridiculous prices ahead of the BPE, as head of the BPE, will do differently as president rather than dissipating energy on irrelevant issues. America has had two presidents that were confined to wheelchairs throughout their tenure because of their physical challenges. What we need is a reformer and a nation builder. What's your reaction to that?
Let me clear that when you accuse somebody of impropriety or of a crime, it is the duty of government. As a lawyer, I cannot condemn somebody who has not been sentenced or convicted by law court. So what he's saying is a mere speculation. We have other people, we have other presidential candidates who are contested. So it is before Nigeria to decide. But we are just saying that these are issues that should not be taken for granted. We are talking about. I was wondering why APC did not.
And coincidentally, your blood brother, Mr. Ashore, is also a presidential candidate of the AAC.
I talk about physical fitness, capacity to handle things. Since before Nigeria, we are all here now to look at these Nigerians, and luckily enough, this time we have just about 18 political parties. I want to urge INEC. INEC has no business putting people or party that has no candidate on our ballot. Let us have, if it is fine, so that Nigeria can decide. We are going to organize debate. There will be question to ask these people who want to be president.
Okay, let's hear from Nigerians. 081-6251-9991, 09081778793. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for calling. What's your name?
This is Prince Adegoye from Akure.
Good to have you join us.
Yeah, I quite believe that politics is a game of numbers. The majority Christians, they are in the south, while the majority Muslims are in the north. So it is so disdainful for any political party to pick a vice president, to pick the president from the minority side as a Muslim and pick another minority vice president in the north. So it just be minority. So it's just the sign of all this noise about Christian, Muslim, is just a sign or a symptom of underdeveloped country. What matters most in this country is a person that can do Nigeria, that can take Nigeria to the promised land. That does it. So
Okay.
enough of this of progress of free flow. So
Mhm.
that's it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Prince Adegore. Well, that's his opinion. You can also call in and tell us what you feel about the issue. Akinbade Adeyemo David says, kudos to your studio guest this morning, Barrister Alan Shore. I feel the choice of a running mate is an exclusive reserve of the candidate. However, the PDP missed an opportunity to present us a southern candidate. Nigeria can't afford another 8 years of Fulani presidency. As for the APC, only a Professor Zulum vice VP-ship, as he put it, will have a cross-country appeal at the moment. Okay, that's another opinion there. Now, if you are conversant with the social media, just as I am, you'll realize that there's another candidate that probably a lot of politicians are underrating at the moment, and that's Mr. Peter Obi. He has that appeal on social media. I don't know if that extends to real life situation, but on social media, a lot of youths are, you know, rooting for Mr. Peter Obi. Now, let me ask you, what you think this would do to would it affect the game at all? Peter Obi's candidature.
Yeah, it will certainly affect the game if you are looking at it from the political point of view. More than ever before, the Igbo nation, so to say, selectively spoken now,
Uh-huh.
one nation, they are more united in an organized manner. They are united in an organized manner more than ever before.
Mm.
They are united in the sense that they wanted the presidency. They are not organized in the sense that they are sparse across party lines. So now that almost all of them have lost out, one of them has now found a platform through which he wants to realize their presidency. He will naturally get home support. That will, affect the vote of two political parties, but it will have much effect on that of PDP, being the fact that PDP has a better presence in the southeast. It will affect, of course, his vote. Also, we must not run away from the fact that most youths who are, of course, on the social media, they are on daily basis keen, connecting, talking about him, doing TikTok and all of that. But the fear I have is this election in Nigeria, and I'm not too happy about that as a private sector person.
Mm.
Election in Nigeria is more of the human content is huge. That means that you need so much money to implement that. That's one. Two, you need so much money to do physical campaign, physical presence, posters,
It's capital
logistics.
intensive.
It is. It is huge. So if you have somebody like Peter Obi, if he could, if it was to be in the US or UK, maybe he will raise the kind of fund from the public. If we could raise this fund, then we could say that, okay, maybe we're in for a big show. But if he is not able to do that, there's no way funding will not affect funding, platform, and structure will not affect his.
The reason I asked that question is because just recently, INEC even cried foul that they got overpowered by the number of youths tripping in, to collect their
I've
PVC,
noticed that. I
and
noticed that in
a lot
Akure.
of these youths are actually rooting for Mr. Peter Obi, if you ask me.
Well, let me just say this. You see, election is coming up 8 months to come. There will be campaign, there will be talks, there will be a kind of, we will interact with the system, the interim will interact with the political system. So there could be a kind of shift. There is a way you vote without actually choosing. So many of them may vote without shooting. But now they may be choosing. But before that time, things may change. For example, someone like me, it has always been my belief that people in the extreme political sector cannot do very, very well, cannot bring into fruition the kind of reform that will change the system radically. They cannot. They cannot because if you have not encountered it, you cannot visualize. If you are not visualized, you cannot give it. For example, if you want to really change what we have in Nigeria, you have to do things that people will see you as, hey, is this guy crazy? If you call me now as a business consultant, if I come to this place, the first thing I will ask you to do is to, okay, let me have your schedule of duty. When I have your schedule of duty, I'll determine for you what number of staff you need. Having done that, then let me have your revenue rates. Looking at that, let me have your expenditure rates. This and this and this, you can. When I do that kind of surgical operation, you understand, then I'm doing it with the purpose of sustaining the entity concept of this place so that I can make it a kind of going concern. That is what is important to me because so many people are drawing salary here. And this particular facility is offering service to the people. So I'll look at it from that angle. So if you are looking at governance from that angle, you should know that it does not take political mind. It takes purely business mind and entrepreneurship mind.
The radical.
And that is what I'm looking at. I can see that Ashwaju is, saying that PETEROBI is talking along that line to reduce cost of governance, send bill for state police, reduce what I call this completely remove this fuel subsidy of a thing, then do what I call institutional rightsizing. We do need to, when you carry huge burden, the money will be going into servicing services that are not productive to the system. A public office or public system is a service created system. It must generate revenue to continue with this service.
Okay, now, sorry to cut you short. What is the PDP? How is the PDP receiving Peter Obi's candidature? Because a lot of Nigerians believe that it would affect even the PDP more than it would affect the APC. What's your reaction?
No. Let me just give you this basic analysis. One, there are no polling units on
social media. Yes, we know.
Then don't equally forget that.
But the revolution could begin from social media.
Let me just tell you now, Peter Obi just left PDP. Just wait now. Peter Obi just left PDP. All right.
Mm-hmm.
The PDP candidate is from the north. Peter Obi is from the south. So whatever the vote Peter Obi is able to gather on the social media is going to affect the candidate that is coming from south.
Did you say on the social media?
Yes. I don't even see some of these candidates as because.
Okay, what of Babazu?
Do you know some of the things that helped the APC in 2015, back in 2015, was because Nigerians were naturally tired. They needed change. They needed to,
That is again what will determine this 2023 election. Nigerians are tired of this present administration that has taken us to nowhere. Let us be factual. Let us be truthful. Who is going to vote for this continuity? This continuity of insecurity, this continuity of poverty, of gnashing of teeth, of inflation, of economy war, of health sector collapse? Is it in Ondo State? Is it in Abuja? Who will continue with this kind of arrangement? Let us be factual. Who can salvage this present quagmire, like you rightly put earlier? Nobody is interested. So it will determine the present administration, the level of war they have given us. We are just tired. Nigeria are looking for alternative. And the alternative has to be organized.
Do you think Nigerians, honestly speaking or objectively speaking now, do you think Nigerians should vote along party lines or they should vote the candidate of their choice?
Party will determine it. The candidate will determine it. In some area, you will see Nigerians are democracy is developing. The party that brought us this war should not be rewarded and cannot be rewarded and will not be rewarded.
Okay, let's take a few more calls. 081-6251-9991, 0908-177-8793. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name? Please speak up a bit.
This is Abbas from Ipotaku.
Good to have you.
Thank you. There are some things I just want to analyze based on that Muslim ticket tools. All these Muslim ticket tools has been happening in Lekki. No governor, no Muslim has never been governor in the state and deputized. But nobody is raising an argument against it. It's happening in those states as well. Nobody is raising an eyebrow against it. Oyinlola of Osun State and his deputy were Christians. Why people are just silent on this? The situation on the ground based on Tinubu's perspective is that Tinubu comes from minority religion in South. You can't just expect him to look for fight from minority religion in the North. It's because, unfortunately, those people who are talking now, they're just indirectly working against this candidature. And that can never come to pass. That Muslim ticket will stand. Tinubu is our
Well,
next president.
thank you very much. But let me quickly remind you that campaigns have not started, but we're just talking to the issues, basically.
Okay.
You want to say something before I take?
Oh, yes. There is no party, there is no government that is absolutely good and has done all or fixed all the problems. But I can say to the credit of what I've seen, I can mention some institutions. When he talked about health, I just did a kind of consultancy, a kind of bad duty consultancy on stamp duty on some of the federal medical centers we have around. I will advise my brother to go there and see the investment in net facility and net sector. People in federal FMC who are listening to me in the last 3-4 years, you'll be surprised. Great investment, as in good money put into it. The problem with us is that we don't understand the fact that the problem
Thank God that you left all the state-owned institutions to talk about federal medical center.
I am coming now. I am coming. You were talking about national government.
Okay. Because of what we have limited time.
What I'm saying is this: we can't.
How many ministers? How many ministers can go to any of these hospitals?
I am coming now. It did not just start.
It's still very
okay. Let's take this. A lot of comments.
It did not just start overnight.
A lot of comments on Facebook actually. Elder Randolph Emmanuel Daude says religion
I want to talk about agriculture too.
Because of our time.
I'll talk about
because of our time. Religion has never been
ATIKU, the road that leads to ATIKU State.
Elder Randolph Emmanuel Daude, religion has never been our problem in Nigeria. Oshibajo, who is even a pastor, has been VP for 7 years, but he hasn't risen on any occasion to speak for the Christians. Before you go ahead, the bandits marauding the north are Muslims and their major victims are Muslims. What we need is a southern presidency, as that is the only way to go to avoid the disintegration of Nigeria. That's according to one of our respondents here. Adejoro Asumo Olatuji JP says, in my own opinion, religion should not be introduced. Let me take the comments, please. In my own opinion, religion should not be introduced in the VP issue, but all I want is a square peg in a square hole, just for Nigeria to progress and all its citizenry to be happy and proud of the nation. Prince Adejoro, thank you for calling, for your message, rather, Adejoro in a Kariako. Okay, Mr. Shore, quickly before we go.
Yes, I was just trying to raise the constitutionality of some of these issues as simple as they appear. Section 10 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, it's very clear that Nigeria is a secular state. So we must be conscious. As much as, I said it earlier, that it's disheartening. It's sad.
And the question anyone would ask you that since 2015 up until now, we've been running a Muslim Christian ticket. To what end?
Of course, that is the standard. Because of the law, because of equity, because of justice. We have been running Muslim presidency. The same question when you applied. So, we don't take some of these things for granted, because already now, religion is our greatest problem.
We do not take them into cognizance, you want to say?
Yes.
Because they don't really matter. What matters is a working nation, if you ask me.
What the implication of that which we are talking about is that, for instance,
that a lady was stoned and killed, right? So if Buhari and Oshibajo were Muslims, the game could have been something else.
Okay.
But because the vice president is a Christian, that's why the situation easily get down and calm down.
If you ask me, that in itself is contradictory. If I want to critically look at that comment, but thank you very much for being a part of the program. We appreciate your comments, and we have to go now. We have to run. Our time is fast spent. I want to thank my studio guests for coming on the show.
Thank you
Even though
very much.
you came to really fight this morning. I don't know why you guys fight.
No,
No, we're not fighting.
You're
You
I
know,
fighting.
like,
my
I
challenge
like,
I have with him is what he says, he's a consultant, he's a private person. At the end of the day, we will not be campaigning for APC.
We've not started campaigns. All
I'm
right.
a member of APC now.
Mr. Rotimi Ogle, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Are we allowed to just give our parting shot?
Yes, quickly.
Yes. I'm praying for the president. That one, that will reduce the 68 items in exclusive list to like 15 and give more power to the states. I'm looking at a president that will be bold enough to remove fuel subsidy. I'm looking at the government that will reduce cost of governance, cut everything to the advantage of the masses. I'm looking at a president that will implement also his report on how to manage MDA so that we will be stripped of these unnecessary wastages. We have a lot of wastages.
Okay, thank you. That will be fine. Thank you very much, Mr. Shore, your parting shot. So we do not look unfair.
Yes, I'm looking forward to see Nigeria take decision that will salvage this nation devoid of religion, ethnicity, and other sentiments.
Okay, thank you very much. If you ask me, I think the next Nigerian president should be a critical thinker, should be a unifier, and should be a very radical person. Nigeria at this point needs somebody who could, like you said, an unusual person who will make unusual decisions in the interest of Nigerians.
Just like we did in Lagos.
Until next week, Thursday, when we'll be back with another edition. Thank you very much for listening. I'm Olabisi Olani Oluwasegun. Good morning.